We gather in this sacred space, not by chance, but by a gentle drawing, a whisper of the soul seeking solace and a deeper understanding of itself. Take a moment now, allow your breath to deepen, to anchor you in this present instant. Feel the rise and fall, the gentle rhythm that connects you to the very essence of life flowing through you. Let the external world recede, just for this precious time, and turn your gaze inward. It is here, in the stillness, that we begin to uncover the profound truths that reside within. We are all on a journey, a pilgrimage of the spirit, often marked by hidden burdens that weigh upon us, obscuring the radiant light of our true nature. One such burden, often insidious and deeply personal, is the pervasive feeling of shame. It is a shadow that clings, a distorted lens through which we view ourselves, even when the sun of divine grace is shining brightly upon us. This isn't the healthy remorse that guides us toward correction, but a corrosive shame that seeps into our very identity, whispering insidious lies about our worthiness and our place in the grand tapestry of existence. Shame, unlike guilt which acknowledges a wrong action, tends to internalize the transgression, transforming it into a defining characteristic. It whispers insidious affirmations, "You are what you did," it insists, attempting to bind us to our past mistakes, to our perceived failures, to our moments of weakness. This internal narrative can create a formidable barrier, a self-imposed exile from the very love and acceptance we crave. Many souls, burdened by this invisible weight, find themselves drifting away from the divine embrace, convinced that their transgressions have rendered them irrevocably unworthy. They see the open door of grace, the boundless ocean of forgiveness, but the voice of shame tells them they are too stained, too broken, too far gone to step across the threshold. This is the insidious nature of shame. It creates a prison of the mind, a dark room where the truth of our inherent goodness is obscured, even when the actual door to freedom stands wide open, inviting us to step into the light. It convinces us that our past actions have permanently etched a flaw into our being, a fundamental unlovability that separates us from the divine current of life. The spiritual landscape is often one where we grapple with these deeply ingrained feelings, these echoes of past hurts and perceived failings that can shape our self-perception more powerfully than any external reality. We are invited to look beyond the shadows, to recognize that the very source of our being is pure love, untainted by the imperfections of our human experience. The journey inward is one of unearthing these buried beliefs, of gently challenging the narratives that have taken root in our hearts, and of discovering the profound truth of our divine connection. It is in acknowledging the presence of these burdens, these invisible weights of shame and unworthiness, that we begin the process of liberation. This is not a journey of self-condemnation, but one of profound self-compassion and a courageous turning towards the light that has always resided within us, waiting to be acknowledged and embraced. We are called to a deeper exploration of how these internal states affect our capacity to receive love, to experience peace, and to live fully in the present moment. The invitation is to understand that what we carry internally can create a distorted reality, one where our true potential is dimmed by the lingering echoes of past experiences. This exploration is crucial for anyone who has felt the persistent sting of shame, the feeling of being fundamentally flawed or unworthy, even when evidence to the contrary exists. It is about recognizing that these feelings, while powerful, are not the ultimate truth of who we are. The path forward involves a conscious effort to shift our perspective, to reframe our understanding of ourselves, and to embrace the transformative power of divine love and acceptance. This initial step of recognition is the fertile ground upon which healing and spiritual growth can begin to blossom. The essence of our being is not defined by the mistakes we have made or the challenges we have faced. Instead, it is rooted in an eternal, unchanging love. This truth is the beacon that can guide us through the darkest moments, illuminating the path towards self-acceptance and spiritual wholeness. It is a journey of rediscovering that inherent worth, that divine spark that resides within each of us, waiting to be fanned into a brilliant flame. We are called to remember that the power of love and grace is far greater than any shadow that might seek to obscure it. This understanding is the foundation upon which we can begin to dismantle the walls of shame and step into the fullness of our authentic selves, embracing the divine presence that is always with us, guiding and supporting us every step of the way. The cross, that ancient symbol of sacrifice, offers far more than just forgiveness for our transgressions. it is a profound restoration of inherent dignity. Consider the narrative of Jesus himself, as Hebrews so beautifully articulates. He looked forward to the joy set before him, enduring the immense suffering and profound ignominy of the cross, not merely bearing our sins, but actively scorning its shame. This is a critical distinction. While guilt points to our actions and calls for repentance, shame distorts our perception of ourselves, suggesting we are fundamentally flawed and beyond redemption. Jesus' act was a deliberate confrontation and dismantling of that very shame, a powerful declaration that our deepest failures do not define our ultimate worth. His sacrifice was a holistic redemption, encompassing not only the pardon of our offenses but also the reclaiming of our sacred identity, a potent rebuttal to any voice, internal or external, that declares us unworthy. Building on this, the truth of our identity is not forged in the crucible of our past errors, but rather in the unwavering gaze of Christ's love. Shame thrives on isolation, on the belief that our struggles are unique and shameful, rendering us unfit for connection. However, the divine perspective dismantles this isolation. Grace, in its purest form, speaks a word far truer and more enduring than any whisper of shame. It declares our belovedness, our inherent value, irrespective of our circumstances or past deeds. This liberating truth is not a passive observation, it is an active force that empowers us to reorient our self-perception. When we internalize this truth, we begin to see ourselves not through the lens of our perceived failures, but through the radiant light of divine acceptance. This shift in perspective is foundational to breaking free from the suffocating grip of shame, allowing us to step into the freedom that Christ's sacrifice so generously offers. Consider, for instance, the experience of someone who has struggled with addiction. Shame might tell them, "You are a failure, you will never be free." But the grace of Christ's sacrifice declares, "You are forgiven, redeemed, and capable of a new life." This is not about minimizing the reality of the struggle or the need for ongoing effort, but about anchoring our hope and identity in a source of love that is unconditional and eternally steadfast. It's about recognizing that the power of God's grace is not dependent on our perfect behavior, but on His perfect love. This understanding is not a mere intellectual assent, it is a deep, soul-level recognition that can fundamentally alter our internal landscape, transforming despair into hope and self-condemnation into self-compassion. Furthermore, this understanding of Christ's victory over shame provides a practical framework for confronting those lingering feelings. It's about actively choosing to align our internal narrative with the truth of the gospel. This means consciously recalling the promises of God's love and acceptance when the whispers of shame begin to surface. It's about remembering that our past may indeed explain certain aspects of our journey, but it does not, and cannot, define our ultimate reality. Christ's work on the cross provides the definitive definition of who we are, beloved, redeemed, and eternally valued children of God. This active engagement with divine truth is a powerful counterforce against the debilitating effects of shame, allowing us to reclaim our spiritual inheritance. Reflecting on this journey so far, we can sense a subtle shift occurring within, a quiet recalibration of our inner compass. It's as if the myriad insights we've explored, like disparate threads, are beginning to weave themselves into a more coherent and luminous tapestry of understanding. We've moved from acknowledging the pervasive nature of unseen burdens to recognizing the profound capacity for restoration that lies at the heart of divine grace. The subtle nuances of our internal landscapes, the way certain experiences can shape our very perception of self, have been gently illuminated, revealing how deeply our inner narratives can influence our outward experience of life. As we stand at this juncture, poised for the final unfolding, it's important to appreciate the convergence of these explorations. The echoes of past whispers that once seemed so definitive are now being met with a deeper resonance, a countermelody of truth that speaks to our inherent wholeness. This unfolding is akin to standing on a mountaintop after a long ascent. The landscape below, once a series of distinct trials, now appears as a unified panorama, revealing the interconnectedness of each step taken. The journey hasn't been about erasing the past, but about recontextualizing it, about understanding its place within a larger, more benevolent narrative. The very essence of our being, the core of our identity, is not a static artifact of past events, but a dynamic expression of divine love that is constantly unfolding. It is in this space of dynamic unfolding that we find the true power to reshape our internal reality, to move from a place of perceived limitation to one of expansive possibility. The subtle yet profound impact of shifting our focus, of consciously choosing where to anchor our awareness, is becoming increasingly evident. As we pivot towards the final reflection, consider the cumulative effect of these insights. It's as if a gentle, persistent rain has begun to soften the hardened earth of our self-perception, allowing new seeds of truth to take root and begin their growth. The air itself feels clearer, imbued with a sense of renewed possibility and a deeper trust in the unfolding process of life. The path ahead, while still requiring conscious engagement, feels less like a struggle and more like a sacred dance, guided by an inner wisdom that has always been present, merely awaiting our full attention. This is the essence of moving forward with clarity and sacred attention, not as a forceful imposition of will, but as a natural consequence of aligning with a deeper, more loving truth. The groundwork has been laid, the understanding deepened, preparing us for the final embrace of this truth. The journey we have undertaken, from acknowledging the insidious grip of shame to embracing the profound truth of our inherent worth, culminates not in an ending, but in a profound beginning. It is here, in this space of awakened awareness, that the true practice commences. We have explored the deceptive whispers that seek to define us by our past, the invisible weights that can obscure the radiant light of our souls. Yet, through the lens of divine grace, we have seen that these shadows hold no ultimate power over the truth of our being. The tapestry of our lives, woven with threads of experience, both joyous and challenging, is ultimately held together by the enduring strength of unconditional love. This love does not erase our past, but rather imbues it with meaning, transforming every scar into a testament to resilience and every perceived failing into a stepping stone towards deeper understanding. The essence of this spiritual unfolding lies in the conscious choice to anchor our identity not in the fleeting narratives of human imperfection, but in the eternal declaration of our belovedness. Shame seeks to isolate, to convince us that our struggles are unique and isolating. But the universal wisdom we have touched upon reveals a profound interconnectedness, a shared human experience where vulnerability is met not with judgment, but with compassion and unwavering support. To live in this awareness is to step out of the shadows and into the full radiance of our true selves, embracing the inherent dignity that has always been our birthright. It is a courageous act of reclaiming our narrative, of choosing to believe the truer word spoken by grace, a word that resonates with forgiveness, acceptance, and boundless potential. As we move forward, let this understanding be the guiding star that illuminates your path. The true practice begins now, in the quiet moments of your day, in the interactions you share, in the challenges you face. It is in consciously choosing to respond to the whispers of doubt with the resounding truth of your divine nature. Remember that your past may indeed explain certain aspects of your journey, offering context and lessons learned, but it does not, and never will, define the totality of who you are. It is Christ, the embodiment of divine love and acceptance, who truly defines you, as cherished, redeemed, and eternally valuable. Carry this truth within your heart, allowing it to transform your perception of yourself and your experience of the world. Let this be the enduring legacy of our shared contemplation, a quiet confidence, a deep peace, and an unwavering trust in the beautiful, unfolding journey of your soul, forever held in the embrace of divine love.